The blue dot is us. Not good. Storms are brewing. Radio said golf ball size hail. I don't think it's gonna hit here, but time will tell. Spider webs. Plant looks better. It's begging for some moisture. I don't have a whole lot of time to give the update today because it's gonna rain. But I wanted to say, first off, thank you everybody for throwing your guess in on the challenge. Had more participation than last year, I think. I didn't do the count, but a few more than last year, so that's great. Good luck. We'll see how it goes. Let's look at the patch here. Actually, I have a ladder right here. It's a fisheye lens, so I know you can't see everything really well. Plus I have the shade nets up, a couple of them. But you can see that the light colored dots, those are the pumpkins. They all have covers on them because it's been sunny today, even though the storm's rolling in. The plants look a lot better than they have. This right here is a 1281 and it's huge. If you remember, this is the one that got the vine tip eaten off early on. I repurposed a secondary vine. Seems to be going well. I have some 2-foot diameter ears that are mid-stomach height. Very well. This plant has some huge stems too. I'll get down under there and show you. 7-inch. Had a 7-inch stem in the back of the plant and a 6 and 2 5s. It's been very nice. We'll see how it grows. I have a giant watermelon. Underneath that blue blanket is a watermelon, which is right by the stump. Too close to keep, but it's cool anyway. Got another one out here underneath this plastic. I don't know if you can see that underneath the jar. Just a little guy. I've also cut a few off. 728 plant, also doing well. That was my seed from last year that I grew. And it's doing well, starting to get some decent sized leaves, but the growth has been nice. Pumpkin's about volleyball size. The ones in the back are still small. 2 left to 2 right ones are small. But the 2036 is really starting to kick up now. Leaves are big. Pumpkin's not that great, but it's early yet. And the 1236 it's kind of middle of the road. Leaves aren't big. They were big to start and then they got small. And now they're just mid-size. A lot of secondaries missing. That pumpkin, the one in the far back, right there, it's 140 pounds on the smallest plant that I have. It's pretty good, going about 10 pounds a day. The closer one is the 2002. It's probably 70-ish. I haven't measured it in a few days. One in the far back, 2036, it's probably 60 or 70. And this one's probably 80, 1236. Patch is looking nice. I can't even imagine how beautiful it would be if I didn't overwater all that time. You know, live and learn. The weeds have taken over big time. It looks really green from up there because all the weeds. I mean, look at this. You can tell the pumpkins and how small these little leaves are. These are the 2002s. It's like a miniature plant, but it's really filled in. So it does have some power to push. A lot of this is taking root, so it's pushing the pumpkin. Pumpkin's doing all right. This guy is my current yellow grower. That bad boy. Little size comparison. It's not huge, but 140. It's getting kind of bulbous here, which is good. Kind of has some good growth because that didn't have that. That big knob right there wasn't there till recently. 10 or 12 pounds a day. That's the other thing I was going to tell you. I signed up for the state fair. Last year I looked and I couldn't find anything about giant pumpkins competition, but this year I found one. So I entered. I have 6 pumpkins. we'll see if they all make. If they do, then I'll take one of them because it's a month earlier than the earliest weigh off. So I got to make a decision which one I want to take. But most likely be one of these two, the 2002 or the 1236. This is a pumpkin that I left on. It's got to be about 8 days old. I don't even know if it's that old. It's probably younger than that, but it is really kicked butt. Just on the end of a secondary. I didn't pollinate it. Somehow got pollinated in here. I've actually had some bees, so I must not have a very secure facility, if you know what I mean. I'm sure I've got squash bugs and everything else. I'm gonna show you the 728 because it's a personal pride kind of deal, right? These are the latecomers. About the size of a volleyball. 1236 is really going. The vine's all the way up there. The plant is about at least 30 feet long. It's way long. Kind of trying to fill in, you know, and it's got spot, you know, it's very spotty where the secondaries are. Don't have a ton of hope for it, but this pumpkin's worth showing because it's nice white. I'm an orange fan myself, but this one looks pretty good anyway. I don't like the concave stem. I've read that can be a problem if the pumpkin really takes off. It can compress over that and they can rot. So I'm a little worried about that. This has got to be close to 100 pounds by now. It's just now, it's at 24 days old. So I mean, it's nothing, none of these are anything to write home about. It's the two little pumpkins that I'm really looking forward to. Let's talk leaves. This is the 1281. Some of the leaves are starting to really fill in, get big back here. And let's see if I can even get a shot on this thing. That's a 7-inch stem. Look at this. It's huge. 7-inch stem. Very cool. I want to see. I'm going to leave that one on. I'm probably going to cut that other sucker one off. This is on the 4th secondary. It's obviously not far enough down to be anything good, but I think I'm going to keep it on for a while. I want to see how the stem develops. The keeper that I have down there has about a 5-inch stem, which is, it looks long. Looks longer than normal. Everybody's wondering how far behind or ahead I am this year. Today's the 23rd. I'm publishing this tomorrow. And my pumpkin last year stopped growing on July 30th. 7 days from now is when it stopped growing at 728 pounds or whatever it was. So that's how far behind I am. Way. These two plants look very similar to last year's. Last year was a good year, except that it stopped growing halfway through the season. From the day I pollinated that plant, my 728, I believe I want to say I had 80 days till the weigh off. So there's almost twice as many days as that one grew last year. It easily has the capability to go as far as the one last year. So I still have a lot of hope. This storm's moving in, and I'm not so convinced now that it's going to miss us. Look right behind me there. That is ugly. I was going to go to dinner, but instead I'm going to hang out for about an hour, see this storm through, see what it does, and record it if it gets crazy. They were talking 60-mile-an-hour winds, which this thing has taken that already. And survived, even though I had to replace a leg. Not one of my legs, one of the patch legs. The blue dot is us. Not good.